The geography of the Highlands and the constant battles between the different groups make communication very difficult. At the moment, access to the western region is impossible due to the wars among the tribes, which cause 5,000 deaths a year. But it has always been like this. Every village, every settlement has studied the best way to defend itself from neighboring clans or tribes. They have made the best bows, more effective spears, heavier, more solid axes and clubs, shields with which to protect themselves, systems of defense and attack, traps and ambushes. Perhaps the most ingenious of all are the mudmen. They live near Goroka along the upper reaches of the Asaro River, and hence they are also known as the Asaro. Their strange means of defense is to turn into spirits and frighten off their enemies. For this they make these masks of mud which, with their grotesque, exaggerated features, look like galactic monsters from distant fictitious planets. The majority of the ethnic groups in the Highlands believe in superhuman beings that live in the rivers, caves, the sky and the forests, and which intervene constantly and decisively in the lives of men. This is their religion, and they make offerings to ask for protection and to ward off misfortune. These supreme beings are called Dhamma. Between them and humans stand the Damini, the spirits of their forefathers. There is also a third group of beings called the Tomya, who live in objects like stones, necklaces, spears, etc., and cause illnesses and misfortunes. The sorcerers can turn these forces against other people in ceremonies called Puri Puri, which take place at night. Once they have finished their masks, the warriors daub their bodies with clay, which they will later dye grey with another more liquid type of mud. They also decorate their waists with ferns, which, spread with mud, take on an ethereal appearance, making the ghostly figures look even more convincing. Their mouths, noses, and ears are encrusted with pig's teeth, giving their fantastic creations an even more ferocious appearance. According to the legend, these methods of invoking the gods began a long time in the past. The Asaro were being hunted by the most numerous of their enemies. Many people had died, and they were waiting the final attack. Then one of the ancients, a man called Pukido Pod, had a dream in which he saw the image of grey, terrifying spirits. That same night they made the first masks of mud. The men attached bamboo canes to their fingers like long fingernails and daubed their bodies with clay. Shortly before sunrise, in the shadows of the forest, the mud ghosts approached the enemy lines with slow, sinuous movements. When they saw them, their enemies fled, terrified, and the Asaro were saved. In the Highlands, the production of high-quality tea is being promoted. The heavy rains are good for this crop. Many Highlanders work on these plantations, and so they are becoming part of the new economy. It remains to be seen if this is a good thing, or if it'll mean the destruction of their traditions, as in so many other places. Coffee of the Arabica type is also being strongly developed. Almost along the line of the equator, these highlands display a savage ferocity, chaotic landscapes which hide a sublime beauty. The subtle softness of the queen orchid along the tortuous path of the furrows etched deep into the land. This is a country of villages and village people who communicate by using an extraordinary repetitive cry. The women are in charge of the pigs, the true wealth of the Highlanders. Sometimes when they are breastfeeding their young children, the women will also suckle the young pigs. Fire has always been very important for these mountain peoples. They know how to light one, whatever the circumstances, and though now they can easily get matches or lighters, the enga show us how to light a fire in a matter of seconds, using just a few pieces of dry straw, a fine strip of bamboo, and a splintered trunk. Today they have gathered together to prepare mono. This is an ancient recipe and they all take part. It is a ritual and the traditions must be strictly adhered to. They make a large fire and place stones on it to heat up. These stones will later be placed in the hole which they will dig in the ground, and there the food will be cooked. Meanwhile, they get the food ready, they cut the squash, peel the yam and the sweet potatoes, clean the grim, a type of vegetable similar to spinach, and remove the leaves from the corn cobs. The monos, the main ingredient, are small sweet bananas which they scrape with a bamboo cane knife, shredding them into small pieces. Once cooked, this pulp will be of the texture of a thick sauce. Once they have finished digging, the hole is lined with grass and banana leaves so that the food does not touch the soil. Then they place the red-hot stones in layers, separated from the food with banana leaves. Yet another use for bamboo is to carry water from the river. The underground oven needs enough humidity to ensure that the food will be cooked without burning the leaves. This region of the Highlands has always been self-sufficient. Before there was any contact with the outside world, the million natives that lived here got all the food they needed from the land. They traded among each other either by barter or using the kinas, shells of mother pearl made into crescent shapes which still today are very valuable. They wear them around their necks at the ceremonies and dances. Of lower value were the toras, circular seashells with a hole in the center, which were threaded to make necklaces. The official currency of PNG is now called the kina, divided into 100 toras. Bamboo is their most important raw material. They crush and peel the canes, then weave them together to make the walls and the floors of their houses. They also use bamboo to make their bows and arrows. Over 20 varieties of this flexible cane grow here, and it is also used to make kitchen utensils, knives, and even musical instruments, like this one, very similar to a Jew's harp. Each man takes care of his own weapons. From when they are children, they learn to make spears, bows, axes, and different types of arrows like this one with 3 tips, which is especially good for hunting birds. The string of their bows is also made from bamboo. A fine strip slightly more than 1 centimeter in width is softened over the fire and then fixed to the ends of the bow to give the necessary pressure. Two hours later, the primitive pressure cooker has done its job. The food is ready. Taking care not to burn themselves on the still hot stones, they take out each layer of leaves with the different foods ready to serve. The food is shared out equally following strict protocol. No one gets more, no one less. That could lead to serious conflict.